Good morning, America. Today's story is about what happens when the Golden State acts like the gravy train is never going to run out. And now the checks are bouncing. We're starting big, California's financial freefall, and drilling down to what may become the epicenter of public education's next crisis, because this is happening everywhere. We're just going to pick on LA for a while because they're an easy target. Let's pull back the curtain. Well, California is staring down the barrel of a $45 million budget deficit, a 45 billion with a B budget deficit. According to revised projections from Governor Gavin Newsom's office, his own finance department, and that's not a typo, that's a billion with a B. Why? There's a few reasons. First of all, there was an over reliance on capital gains taxes from the uber wealthy, money that dried up with tech slowdowns and market volatility, skyrocketing spending on everything from green energy projects to illegal immigrant services. COVID relief dollars are gone. Remember COVID relief dollars because that's going to be a very important thing moving on. But the spending habits stuck around like a bad addiction. And here's the kicker: instead of tightening the belt, California's leaders keep expanding programs and locking in permanent costs like pay raises, new bureaucracies, and equity initiatives. That sounds great in theory, but burn money in practice. And now they're pulling out the duct tape. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. This isn't just a Los Angeles story, it's a statewide meltdown. And the fire started in Sacramento. California is supposed to be the fifth largest economy in the world. But unfortunately, it's under a one-party rule of Governor Gavin Newsom and a supermajority of Democrat legislature. The state's finances have turned into a progressive Ponzi scheme. They spent in the pandemic flush like it would never end. $97 billion in surplus gone in 2 years. In 2 years. In 2 years. Instead of building sustainable programs, they rolled out massive one-time equity grants, climate projects, stimulus checks, universal free lunch, and billions in new education programs, all without long-term funding sources. They passed record budgets north of $300 billion, loaded with temporary expansions that became permanent. And now, with the tax revenue down, population fleeing, I was going to say like population fleeing like it was on fire, but it kind of was. And capital gains vanishing. They're acting shocked that the math isn't mathing anymore. So, what's the response from the top? Governor Newsom's latest revised budget still promises free health care for illegal immigrants. How? It keeps climate spending intact and protects favored social programs while slashing prison funding, delaying school payments, and robbing dedicated funds like their personal piggy banks. And the legislature? They're too busy debating reparations and banning plastic bags to ask why school districts are teetering on collapse. This isn't just poor planning, it's deliberate mismanagement. And of course, districts like the Los Angeles Unified School District, already weighed down by declining enrollment, high union costs, and unsustainable COVID era hires, are left holding the bag. And yes, the Los Angeles Unified School District is a mess, but that mess was poured out on the governor's office, bottled in legislature, and delivered statewide with a blue ribbon that reads equity first, accountability never. So let's not forget, LAUSD received more than $5 billion in COVID relief. And unlike other districts, but like some, it even scored, well, actually, nobody got this but them. They scored a $500 million bonus from the Biden administration to cover COVID testing, just testing. So what happened? They hired thousands of permanent staff, aides, counselors, mental health workers on temporary COVID dollars. Were they thinking that this money was going to last forever? Were they hoping that COVID was going to last forever? This sort of makes sense now that that some of these things never went away. The masking, the distancing, all this, and all the jab thing. They never wanted that to go away, because if that had gone away, the money would have gone away, right? But now those dollars are gone because COVID is over, right? But the employees that they hired during that time are still on the payroll. They launched equity programs, boosted after school services, and expanded support centers. And I think this was all sort of in a hope to get people to come back to public schools. Noble causes? Maybe. But again, no permanent funding to sustain them. And as of January 2025, every last federal relief dollar must be spent or forfeited. There are going to be no more extensions. So that money is gone. You hear me? Gone. Now the LA Unified School District School Board just approved what they call a fiscal stabilization plan. Translation: kick the can. Hope for a miracle. Pray that nobody notices. Here's what they're doing. They're going to delay $30 million in staffing cuts. They were supposed to cut 60 million, but they only went halfway. Postponing contributions to retiree healthcare funds. That frees up $645 million. Again, but that's robbing Peter to pay Paul. Planning to close schools and shrink district offices in the years ahead. Not this year, not this coming school year, but in the years ahead. These aren't guarantees. These are just plans. So instead of solving the crisis, they're managing the optics. There is no way to pretend that politics aren't driving the bus off the cliff. Unions are already demanding more raises, citing $4.8 billion in reserves as proof the district can afford it. So the unions want the reserve money. They want to cook the goose that lays the golden egg, which is typical union behavior. They want to cook the goose, eat it now, instead of waiting for it to produce eggs. They want to eat it now. Activist groups are pressuring the board to maintain and maybe even expand spending on targeted initiatives. One of them is the Black Student Achievement Plan. Got a one-time $50 million boost, bringing it to $175 million. Programs for immigrant student centers received $4 to $5 million increase. Again, no one's asking if the math is mathing. They're only asking if the narrative plays well in the next school board election. Now, let's be clear. Next year may look okay on paper. Why? Because they're draining the reserves to patch the hole. But by 2027 or 2028, the well will run dry. So unless California delivers another multi-billion-dollar bailout or Congress floods the system with new federal dollars, which means money from Missouri or Florida or Texas and Ohio and Illinois and Washington and Alabama, the Los Angeles Unified School District will face massive layoffs, school closures, and potential bankruptcy style restructuring of the entire district. Now, keep in mind, enrollment is down, test scores stagnant, and parents are fleeing to charter schools and private options wherever they can. Because this is not a funding crisis, this is a credibility crisis. California sold itself as this utopia of progressive spending. But just like all the utopias of progressive spending, the bills come due. And public education is first in line to get cut off. The state's largest district is living on borrowed time. The money is gone. The promises remain, but the money is gone. And parents are stuck wondering if their kid's school will still exist in 3 years. This is what happens when leadership governs by slogans and not spreadsheets. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Mona Report. The Mona Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. Just like always, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, don't take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.